If you're grossed out by eating organ meats and you're like, I love pate, but I can't get past the thought of like that mineral irony type flavor, you're going to want to see how I make vegan pate on the grill, which sounds kind of weird.
It does. I didn't think I would ever hear vegan and pate together, but leave it to Kiki. Let's see what she shows us.
Secrets out to this pate, we're using mushrooms.
Shroomies.
That's one of the secrets. There's a lot. Okay, so we got some creminis. We're going to use 2 kinds. There's a lot of secrets to this pate as to what makes it good. The first secret is that we are using fresh cremini mushrooms. And we're going to be using 2 kinds of mushrooms. I'm not going to give it all away.
So we're saying you can't use canned here. You know how I love my canned?
No.
Okay.
Please don't. Canned mushrooms are disgusting. They had that tinned flavor to me. I would say definitely get the real ones. I don't know why would you buy tinned when the regular ones are on sale all the time?
They're pre-cut. They're washed. Come at me.
Let's take some effort here, pal. The next secret is we're using leeks. So say if you're not into washing, you don't want to buy leeks because they're very dirty. You have to.
And I will take the extra step with leeks because they are delicious. And I have done it where I haven't taken that extra step and I'm like, let's just see what happens.
No.
You don't want to see what happens. It's grit city, baby.
Leeks are so sandy and it gets right up in there. So when I'm trimming all my vegetables, leeks included, carrots, we're going to do like the classic mirepoix here, but with leeks, carrots, celery. I take the tops, add them to a giant Ziploc bag, throw that in the freezer. Because leeks are one of... Do you?
Yeah, stock bag.
You do it too?
I don't have this mammoth size stock bag that you have. What size is that?
It's an extra large. I bought it by mistake.
I feel like you could fit in that bag.
It's like a garbage bag for stock ingredients. But leeks are one of those things that...
Is this sped up or is this your natural speed? What is happening?
No, it's sped up. I am that fast normally. That's what she said. But it is sped up, but that's just because I didn't think you guys would want to see like hours and hours of chopping. And
I find watching chopping and chopping soothing for some reason. Am I weird?
It is a little bit weird.
Is that weird?
But there is so much chopping to this recipe because anything vegan, there's so many vegetables that go into it that it is a lot of chopping. But we've got some celery that we're cutting up. The tops of the leeks are going into that bag.
Oh, that's not parsley?
This is parsley now. Now we've got our fresh herbs. Parsley's going to go in. So the thing with vegan recipes is you want to make sure there's a lot of flavor. So where you're lacking flavor that you could rely on before with like butter and bacon and things like that, you don't have anymore. So you want to rely on fresh herbs. We're going to go in with some chives as well.
So you're saying fresh, not dried here.
No, all definitely not. And we're going to be adding these after everything is cooked so they will stay nice and bright. Now...
What is happening here? What is
truffle oil.
Ooh.
This is one of my favorite ingredients when I'm making anything mushroomy.
Do you ever get a little chug-a-lug down
No,
that?
It's too expensive.
Okay. Okay,
no.
So not even a little chug-a-lug.
This is not a drink,
okay. Oh my
It's
goodness.
not a sparkling water. Mushroom number 2, dried chanterelles.
Okay, thank goodness for the dried chanterelle. You can't find those throughout the year.
No, you can't.
If you gotta go dry for these.
And what I love about dried mushrooms is they're actually in some ways better than fresh for certain things because you add boiling water to them. They get rehydrated and then there's like a mushroom liquor that comes with them that you can add into recipes. So it's like you're getting double the flavor that you wouldn't get from a fresh mushroom.
Okay, but as somebody who's like sober, as you are, dry, if you will, calling it a mushroom liquid, you couldn't go with a mushroom stock?
Mushroom liquor? Me calling it a mushroom liquor?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is more like a stock, but it's so delicious.
He's like, I just like to get high on my mushroom liquor.
You got these shots of mushrooms.
She's got to get her kick somewhere in life here.
Okay, so we've prepped all the inside stuff. Now you want to go out and light your charcoal grill. If you're thinking, let's do this on a gas grill, you could definitely do that because we're going to be using a cast iron skillet, but go that extra mile, use a charcoal grill because you're going to add so much smokiness to this recipe that you will not get from a charcoal grill.
Mm-hmm. I wish that we could smell the smells that are happening here because I'm sure it smells incredible. What kind of wood was that?
That was a maple.
Ooh.
A sugar maple because it's maple season. I got a lot of maple kicking around. And it was a fairly large chunk.
I was just going to say, that was a hearty piece.
Yeah.
That wasn't a chip. That was a chunk.
And I'll be honest with you, it was that big because I didn't want to walk all the way back up to the grill studio, and I had that in the wood box inside.
When it's winter time and you're grilling, you make decisions like that.
But I wanted that much. I wanted to really elevate that smoke flavor here. So everything is added into a cast iron skillet.
Is that the herbs?
That was dried thyme.
Okay.
A little secret.
Okay, so dried thyme. Yes.
So a little secret for those that want to remember certain little rhymes when it comes to cooking. I always remember mushrooms love thyme. If you think about like certain pairings, like it's not a
rhyming, buddy. I'm like, I didn't know that was the end of it.
I'm like, the end. No, but you know, like peanut butter loves jelly. Like there's certain.
It's not a rhyme. Okay. Those are just a thing to remember.
Those are more pairings. I'm high on mushroom liquor. Sorry, guys.
Did you sneak some in here?
Okay, so we are adding everything to the cast iron skillet. The secret here, though, is...
Wait, was that lentils?
That was lentils.
Ooh, cooked.
So, cooked lentils, I always start from dried because they're a bigger bargain. They're just cooked lentils. You can use canned if you wanted to. But what I love about this recipe... What are those? Toasted pine nuts.
Ooh. Ooh.
And the fresh herbs going into that. We're going to blend this up.
So now this is kind of seeming like a pesto.
No, it's not. Pesto is basil.
So you can no pesto can be anything. Yeah,
I guess.
Exactly.
But the ratio is not a pesto. Look. So we're starting to grind it down. So what I love about this recipe, sometimes you'll see in vegan recipes they'll call certain things like a pate, but it's just mushrooms. Where's the protein? You have to a pate you would be eating on a cracker or a piece of bread, and
that's a protein source.
Exactly.
Yes.
You'd have it on a cheese board. So by adding the lentils and the nuts, now this becomes a protein that you could have. You could put this on a sandwich. You could mix it into a pasta dish.
This texture is screaming my name.
Look at that texture
and delectable.
and look at the color.
You did have me for a second thinking that this was pesto, but then it got taken into pate territory.
See, because you need those fresh herbs for
Somehow
the flavor.
the color looks like pate. I don't get it. It has that gray off, kind of grayish brown taupe color.
That's not taupe.
Yeah, it is.
That's not taupe. I don't think. Know
taupe.
your color wheel, pal.
It's taupe. Taupe is a beigeish gray.
Maybe I'm thinking of mauve.
That's purple. You know your color. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. Yes.
So smearing it on some bread. It's silky. It's smooth. It's slightly smoky. That truffle oil really brings it to the next level.
Could you taste the truffle oil in it?
The thing is, I add a lot of truffle oil. It's one of those ingredients like sesame oil where people say you shouldn't add a lot of it because it's so strong. I don't agree with that.
Sesame oil is not strong, and truffle oil is not strong.
No. So
it depends on the brand, actually. Is this brand a little bit more strong?
I don't think it's strong, period. I personally really like truffle oil, and in a mushroom dish like this, I think it really elevates it to the next level. You'll notice in the recipe, if you visit maddieandkiki.com, you will see there is 2 tablespoons of truffle oil in it.
Oh, that's a lot.
Which seems like a lot, but for the quantities of everything else in the recipe, it's not that much.
What about, I would even go so far as to say, sometimes when something is like luscious like that or extravagant, what about just removing it from the recipe and just drizzling a little bit on the top? That's what I would do. That was a hard no. That's a hard, but I like sometimes things like that, like chili oil. Sometimes it gets lost in the recipe if you drizzle on the top. To me, once you see that glistening drizzle, all of a sudden this pate is date night, baby. It has like that sensual vibe. I think it needs the oil on the outside.
You could drizzle more on top if you wanted to, but I like it throughout because then it's evenly spaced out. You put it in your mouth. It's just like you just get that aroma of truffle.
I will compromise in and out then. Put it in the recipe, drizzle on the outside of the recipe.
Fine. But don't leave it out altogether. It's a winner. It's mandatory in this pate. And if you are cooking for someone who's vegan or vegetarian and you made them this vegan smoked mushroom pate, they will be astounded.
Can you imagine the people out there that are thinking, I have a vegan friend or I have a vegan family member, what the heck do I make them? This was actually fairly simple.
It's so simple. We hear that all the time. I don't want to make like one of those like fake meat burgers. They're gross. I don't know what to do. If you make them this and then this, you also don't have to worry about cross-contaminating anything because it's in a cast iron skillet as well.
I think anyone vegan showing up to a barbecue party and having this presented to them, they would feel so special. They would feel like they're not an afterthought. 'Cause I think a lot of vegan people or vegetarian people always think like they're like an afterthought. It's like, okay, we're serving up burgers, we're serving up brisket. What do we serve the vegans?
Veg and dip.
Yeah.
It's always like, we got veg and dip.
That ain't enough.
I'm all right with veg and dip, even if the dip was the pate.
Ooh, yeah.
Then you can make a little bit of a meal out of that.
Agreed.
But yeah, you guys will definitely love this one.